a lot of Caribbeans didn't believe that their origin were from Africa. They were rejecting. And
Hmm.
I, I interviewed a lady 2 days ago who her father, when she left to go to Benin, told her, "Do not never go out with an African guy." And the lady I was working with told me exactly the same thing. Like, you should not go out with African people, with black people. Like, you are black, right? Being an African, it was such a stigma, right? Because as soon as you say African, it was like, you guys have nothing, you poor.
We were taken from you, so we're better than you because now we're over here and we speak English and we live in buildings and you live in huts and tribes.
Why were we raised that, you to separate ourselves? Like, oh, this Americans might be better, or Africans might be lower, or Caribbean people might be lower, or like why is it that they try to separate Black people so much?
There's a there's a myth that one is better than the other because of where they are or because of
Yeah,
their skin color. People think, oh, people in Africa, they're just run around the bush, they're jet
yeah,
black, and that's
yeah.
it.
All right, friends. So this is a conversation between friends. We all friends here. This is part of our little tribe, right? So,
Yes.
guys, we're gonna introduce ourselves. So, I'm Jace, and I'm a solo traveler. And this conversation is very important to me because, as an African, I always wanted to know how, us Caribbean, African, and African American, how we relate to each other. Okay. And I think, but this is a candid, and I want it to be a fun conversation. So, and so we're going to start to introduce ourselves. We'll start because I see Kim next to me. I don't know how you guys
Mhm.
have us there. So, Kim, if you want to start to introduce yourself and what you do and your channel, and then we move to Vicky.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. I'm from Barbados, the island that Jazz is talking about, and let me know how much countries I can visit. I think it's 150 something, right, Jazz?
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
and my channel is about motivation and manifesting and basically seeing the best version of you and becoming that and reaching your goals along with it.
Mhm.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Vicky.
it. Oh,
And
oh,
I'm
something else. Because you wanted me to say something else?
No, that's okay. We'll
Oh,
continue
okay.
with the conversation anyway. You
Okay,
can
good.
continue. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Vicki. My channel is Aging on Your Terms, and it is about sharing my family's good, bad, happy, and sad stories to motivate you to plan for your future besides just saving for retirement, because I'm living with the consequences of people who had plenty of money for retirement but wouldn't put grab bars in the shower.
Yeah. And you guys have two amazing channels, you know. Kim is the one where if you are sobbing about your life, go see Kim's and then she's gonna tell you how
Yes.
how to behave and take care of yourself and be happy and call for what you want, right? And then Vicky has an amazing channel where she helps you to prepare and to see how you can plan for your future or when you're incapacitated, when you maybe not be able to advocate for yourself. So two
Mm-hmm.
amazing channels, two amazing ladies. And I forgot, I'm the African and I'm from Gabon. I completely
Oh, I
forgot.
forgot. I'm the American.
Vicky is the American, and Kim introduced herself, and she's from the Caribbean, Barbados. And Kim, you're right when you spoke about I did that video about passport privilege. I got jealous, girl. I'm like, what? You come to the UK without a passport, without a visa,
Visa?
and you can go in Europe. You can go to so many places without a visa. I was like, wow. I'd love to know the history, of Barbados. How
Mm-hmm.
come you have so much agreement with so many countries for visa traveling visa free? Because as an African, if I was just traveling with my African passport from Gabon, I barely can go anywhere. you know. Um, yes, I can't go to Europe. or there's places where I can go, but not Europe, America, or not as many places as you. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
yeah, that's great. Um, anyway, let's start simple. How do you say? I mean, for Vicky, I don't know, but I wanted to know how you say hello in your native language. So
Oh, you want to go first, Vicky? You want to go first, Vicky?
Well, because I am from California, it's just basically hello. All over the rest of the country, it could be something else depending on where you are. Howdy,
yeah,
hey.
yeah,
The Bajan one is what would we say? We say yo. I don't say we say yo. We say hey. What would we say? Hello. It's a because we have so many different. It depends on who you're speaking to. So some
yeah,
people, if you're seeing someone and you're passing them on the street, it's you say good morning, good afternoon. If you are passing a friend, you'll say, hey, that common hey, or I don't think we say yo. The guys, men will say yo to one another, because they want to
right.
be all cool and stuff. But yeah, I think that's
But do
just
you have like a common dialect? Like in Gabon, there's about 32 dialect, right?
mhm.
And Punu. But when we say hi, there's one word that we use, mbolo, which means hi. And any dialect in Gabon, everyone would understand that that means hi. Although within our direct language, there's another way to say hi. Like mine will be Umahomboha, which is only the people Punu and, oh, sorry, Punu will understand what it means. So do you have something
Well,
like that?
for our we call it Bajan.
Bayesian. Okay.
So what I was trying to remember is if we see like if I haven't seen some person in a long time, I don't say hello. We say what going on. So it's
Okay.
what going on.
Oh, like
And
what's
we
going
speak,
on?
yes, but we speak very bad broken English.
Oh, is it like Fiji then? Like in Cameroon and in Nigeria, people speak like a broken English. It's like a bit like the Creole will speak French, a broken French.
Mhm. No, it's just bad broken English. Instead of um yes, we say yeah, like YA.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
if you say, when you're saying cause, like CAUSE, we say CUZ. That's how we speak. Very bad broken English. It's no other language, it's just broken English. But
Yeah.
it sounds like another language. It does. People mistake it. It does sound like another language.
Yeah, I do understand that because the Cameroonian who are part Anglophone, so the part of Cameroon, my husband country, speak English as well,
Mhm.
and so that's interesting. So the first question I want to ask you guys, and feel free to ask question. It needs to be a light conversation between us. Like, what's your first impression of African American, and Caribbean? So depending of who you are, what is your first impression before you ever met somebody from there?
Yeah, I think for me, my first impression of Africans wasn't what I ended up meeting. So I wasn't expecting to see me. I was
Right.
expecting them to be completely different. And I think I kind of grew up a little bit romanticizing it, that, we were taken away from the motherland, and I was descendant from royalty, and that everyone would be walking around, in princely robes and speaking this beautiful language. And then I met some Africans who hadn't been here that long. I'm like, oh, you're just me. You're just
That's interesting, though. I love the way that the fact that you say you romanticize it
me.
is something that's really intriguing for me,
Hmm.
because the way I grew up in France, and because I travel a lot as well, and the idea that I had that American had from us, it's more negative, more a negative way, right?
Yeah,
Because
I think it depends. I think it
right,
really depends on how you were raised. And so I think we were raised to
right,
understand we came from Africa, and
wow,
we didn't see it in the negative connotation that it was portrayed in by,
yeah,
TV and, the black face, and that we were just, all descended from apes and baboons. We didn't see that. And
wow,
I
okay,
credit my mom and dad for that, is that they showed us the good side, and we understood, wow, the people who came over, they weren't slaves, they were made slaves, they were doctors, they were lawyers, they were, kings and queens and princes and princesses. They weren't the way that America portrayed them. And I think if you were raised the right way and you're taught the truth and you see them the way I did.
that's amazing. I love that. How about you, Kim?
Um, for Africa, we obviously being in the Caribbean, we had a lot of slavery. And we for Barbados, and I'm not a history book person, so don't quote me. But let me say for me. So basically, obviously in school, we grew up, we knew that Africans came to Barbados and stuff. And we were also raised to, you knew that there were like tribes and stuff like that. I had a well imagination. So when I think Africa, I think not like how Vicky said, regular people like me. I'm thinking like tribes and stuff. Obviously that's when I was little, but as I grew up and I learned more, I had a what you say like intriguing feeling towards Africans, because when I used to work in the hotel industry too, so I met
Okay,
kings, like because obviously out in Africa it's massive, so you do have like
Mhm.
royalty out there still.
yeah,
So we met some really high level people from Africa,
okay,
and then I instead of just thinking of, oh, y'all are here with us, I thought y'all were up here. And then for Americans, um, no, don't take offense to me, Vicky, but woo, for me, for Americans, before I met my have American friends, the Americans that for me, I felt that if Americans felt like they were too much, like they're all of that and a bag of chips. But I come to recognize that it's some parts of America. It depends on who and how you were raised. And I guess that's all over the world, really.
right.
Yeah.
I, I'm going to
I didn't.
share some. Oh, sorry, go on,
Oh no,
Vicky.
go ahead. I was going to say the same thing with Kimberly about Americans. I get that stereotype that people think I'm going to come in and think that I'm everything in a bag of chips and they should be waiting on me, and I'm all of that. And when I went to Jamaica and the Bahamas, I think I shocked people that they were
Mm.
expecting me to be that, and my stereotype, I expected everybody to be Bob Marley. just
Yeah,
just laid back, chill,
yeah,
not a care in the world. And I actually met people who hustled more than me.
yeah. Actually, for me, the Americans, um, so I'm talking about my experience because I grew up in France. When I
Mhm.
was a kid in Africa, I don't remember anything because I was very young. And but once I came in France, the idea that I had of American, it's as a bit Kim said, like people that sort of themselves above
Mhm.
everybody. And to be honest, I did not differentiate African American and and you know the other races. For me, you guys were just American.
Americans.
Right.
And the thing that changed for me, and the other thing is, I had a grudge be against the Caribbean and the American because I felt a lot of rejection when I was growing up.
Hmm.
Caribbean didn't want to have anything to do with African in France,
Mhm.
felt that they were very different from us. I felt that they were looking at us down. And
Mhm.
the American the same. So for me, I'm African American were other people, Caribbean were other people. But I didn't grow up with that. I grew up with every black people is my brother and my sister, right?
Hmm.
So when then I was working with a Caribbean from the French part of Caribbeans and a Guadeloupean, and I'm like, that's my sister, and trying to be close to her, and she's like, we're not the same people. I don't
Hmm.
go out with um, uh, black people, but she was as dark as me, and so that traumatized me a lot. And then,
Jazz,
yeah,
before you move forward, I just want to let you know that Caribbean people, I know of, like Bajan people, when they leave Barbados and they go away, they behave, oh Lord, like they become the worst American version or whatever worst version there is because they start to feel if they're on top of the world. So you just
yes,
met the idolized, pretentious Caribbean person, whoever that was.
but that no, it's not the only one. That there was really a battle in France between Caribbean and African. They wouldn't just not go together. And so, but
Wow.
yeah, it's like a lot of Caribbeans didn't believe that their origin were from Africa. They were rejecting. And
Hmm.
I, I interviewed a lady 2 days ago who her father, when she left to go to Benin, told her, "Do not never go out with an African guy." And the lady I was working with told me exactly the same thing. Like, you should not go out with African people, with black people. Like, you are black, right? So
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
had that in mind, but that has changed a lot. You know, when and thanks to YouTube, right? Because then I came across people like Vicky. Vicky, you know that you are a unique person. Even the way you think, you're just a good heart. You're just a good person. So I understand that for you, seeing other people the way you do, I'm not surprised, And then I met you, Kim, right? And I met a lot of Caribbeans. So it's important. That's why it was important for me to have that discussion because we have prejudice against
Hmm.
Yeah.
other, right?
Yes.
Oh yes.
There's a
Oh yeah.
division that I want us to be true as well about that,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
then we
Hmm.
come to the lightweight and how now we love each other, right? The unity. But the truth that there's a separation. And what then changed for me for American guys, it's George Floyd, okay? Because I don't watch TV, when that happened, my daughter sent me the image. I watched it. And then I watched so many things that was happening. I was completely oblivious of what was happening and I was crying my heart out because like they're hurting my people. I
Mhm.
even have the chill, you know.
Hmm.
It was so hard for me to see how people looking like me was hurt.
Mhm.
And then I came to change the way then I learned through YouTube, knowing more African American and then getting together. And that has changed completely whatever, was before. So
Yes.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't want that to be like a deep, deep conversation, but it's just the truth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is, and like I said, I'm probably unique just because of the fact that my grandfather was in the Navy, so he traveled all over the place. He's also was Creole, so got that little bit of French in
Oh,
there too. So
yeah.
can't speak a lick of it, but I think it's that melting pot perspective that I wasn't raised to have those, blinders on because we're so mixed. We can't shut off other people. But I completely understand exactly what you were saying because in our community, we had two families from Africa who didn't want their children playing with us. They'll call you with playing with the white children, but not with the black
Mhm.
children because they had those stereotypes with us. So at
Wow.
school, we could be friends, but on the same street that we lived on, we couldn't talk to each other in front of their parents.
Wow. And that's sad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is
Because
sad.
their parents thought we were going to be a bad influence on them. Because
Y-
everyone thinks that like what happened with George Floyd. Everyone thinks that because you're Black, you are definitely a gang member, you're on welfare, that you have no redeemable qualities at all. And that's how they just view all of us. And so I think that the bad part about what happened to George Floyd is he's not the only one that it happens to. It just happened to be everyone was stuck at home and happened to see that because it's
And
Yeah,
all over
somebody
the
had a
place. It's very
phone at that
pervasive
time.
here in the US.
Yeah.
Mhm,
yeah. The world didn't know, honestly.
mhm,
We
right,
knew that there's some police brutality, but not to that level. And
right.
and
Because
and
you don't see it.
yeah, no, we
No.
don't know. And I was crying for weeks because I
I
keep
can sleep.
watching
I
these
was mad
videos.
at myself for watching it because I couldn't sleep like for a
Yes,
Mhm,
long time. I
yes,
couldn't sleep.
yes,
And
and
that's why I don't watch the news. That's why I don't follow those things because it
yeah,
interrupts
mhm,
my peace of mind. And not that you don't care about people, but at the same time
yes.
you don't want to be drawn in to
true.
that, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah, and I think that happened just because somebody was passing by chance and decided to take out their phone. And that's how we all saw.
it was
Yeah, and
meant to.
what you saw was what happens here in America. You don't get the full story all the time. You hear
Mhm.
what the police had to say. And
Yeah.
this was a person who believed the story wasn't going to get told. And so she recorded it
Yeah.
end to
Mm,
end. And they kept trying to get her to turn her phone off.
Yeah.
right.
And so, and I think she was hoping that by having that phone running, they would stop. But you can see that's how pervasive it is. The police brutality is. They don't stop because they believe they're above the law.
Yeah, but this, thanks to the person who recorded it, unfortunately, he
Mhm,
lost his life, but that opened the eyes of a lot of people.
It
For
did.
mhm,
me, the separation that I had in my head between African American, Caribbean just dissolved, because
mhm.
all I saw is myself. This is us. This is somebody that resemble that's like me, you know. This is
Mhm.
But
and
why
yeah.
now that we're talking about this and about this separation, have you ever thought of why do or why were we raised that you to separate ourselves, like, oh, this Americans might be better or Africans might be lower or Caribbean people might be lower, or like why is it that they try to separate Black people so much?
I'm going
And
to be
Yeah.
we have
honest with
like the
you.
biggest separation ever.
I'm going to be honest with you. It goes back to the beginning of time. Everyone was separated by something. Even the whites are separated by something. When I look at the history of America, when the whites came over here, they only wanted certain whites. The Irish came over, they were treated poorly. The Jews came over, they were treated poorly. It's an other, and it's that hierarchical Anglo-Saxon that you must be blonde and blue in
Blonde,
order to
blue
be
eyes.
accepted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yes, it's deeper than we can really discuss here on this
Mhm.
little platform, this small channel. It's deeper.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and so
it's not
that's when that comes in. So you look at it, it's already started in another area. So then when you look at us, there's a there's a myth that one is better than the other because of where they are or because of
yeah,
their skin color. So like even, so people think, oh, people in Africa, they're just run around the bush, they're jet
yeah,
black, and that's
yeah,
it. They don't believe that there's various shades, and in every society you're going to have the higher ups and you're going to have the lower downs in every
exactly.
single society, but they lump it and say, nope, we were taken from you, so we're better than you because now we're over here and we speak
Yeah,
English and we live in buildings and you live in huts and tribes. If they don't do their
yeah,
homework to figure out, no, we all are exactly the same.
exactly.
Because the
Divide to
only way that
conquer.
I knew that they weren't just huts and tribes was when obviously YouTube came up and people are vlogging. People are going to these places and showing
Mhm.
you how gorgeous
Yeah,
it really
Yes,
is, and then at the same time too, people are showing you how safe countries are. Because if you listen to the news, you'll never
you
leave
should
your
never go
house.
anywhere. Exactly.
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, that's beautiful anyway. This thanks to YouTube and to social media. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For everybody being able to, I grew up being ashamed of being an African. I've said it's the first time I said that online.
Mm-hmm.
When you were growing up in France, being an African, my name sounded like Spanish or something, and my
Hmm.
first name is like completely a French name. So because being an African, it was such a stigma, right? That I was embracing my French because I'm a French citizen, my French citizenship more than African. Because as soon as you say African, it was like what you said, right? You guys have nothing, you poor, etc., etc., etc. And it's when I went back to Africa, and when I started to embrace really my identity, is that I felt really whole.
Hmm.
And that's why I took my kids to Africa because they're born here, grew up here. They only identify as European. And
Mm-hmm.
until you really recognize where you are from, you
Hmm.
understand your origin, right? You are not whole. There's something missing at you
Yeah.
into your personality, into who you are. And I see my
Yes.
girl being so free to be wearing the afro. That they have like the afro hair, and one of them are locks like me, and they're just comfortable in their skin as being black women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's something that, yes, thanks to the power of internet, you know, all
Yes.
these kinky hair thingy, all these, wherever you come from, you're proud to be from Caribbean, you're proud to just be who you are.
Yep.
And yeah. Anyway, guys, that was a bit deep. Shall we go? Shall we? So otherwise, what is one? So if one of us, right? If somebody moved to your country, okay, what is one rule they should know? Is that a hard one? Something simple, like maybe the Chinese or the Japanese. I don't know. You should not look people into the eye. You should not, shake your hands or something like that.
God, do we have anything?
So
Me either.
okay, I have several ones in Africa. Any elders, like if let's say
Oh,
my mom is not
I,
anymore.
I, I, I just remembered one.
Okay, go on.
One thing, if you move to the Caribbean, if you move to Barbados in particular, do not pass anyone in the street and not say good morning or good afternoon or hello. Do not speak. Trust
Oh.
me. Yeah, you will. What they will call Bajans, some Bajans, especially the older ones, might cuss you. So Marley, you know,
Yeah.
you, that's something that we like. Even being out here in England, not getting accustomed to people not talking to you was different, especially for my husband that is accustomed to speaking to everybody on the street. Because our culture is that you speak to every person that you pass. You say good morning or you say good afternoon. And when you enter some place, you have to say good morning or good afternoon.
That's great. As
Yeah.
I'm
It's
traveling
opposite here.
to, yeah, as I'm traveling.
It's opposite here. I grew up that way, but over the time, I've noticed people don't do that, and people don't look you in the eye anymore. They would rather look away from you. And if someone speaks to you first, then you speak. So I don't, like I said, I don't have a norm right now because everything's kind of changed.
It's funny, Vicky, when I came for the first time in, we came to Orlando several times with my kids,
Mhm.
and as a South American was very cool. Yeah, on the street, people will be like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "You talking to me? Like I don't know you. Like, how you doing?" Because British people are really reserved, like they're withdrawn. Okay, they may say, "Hi, how are you?" But it's just a way to say hi. They don't want to know the answer, right?
Yep. I think it's regional because I know that from the South, and you were in Florida, which is the South, people are a little bit more, hi, how you doing, when soon as they see you. When you come over here, like when you get into the bigger cities like California, New York, depending on where you are, some people are very, very reserved. And so that's why I said I don't
Oh,
have a norm that I can say you can use here. I would say read the room and see what other people are doing first before you speak to someone and get told, who the heck are you? Why are you talking to me?
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I'm coming there. That's why I need to know, you know? I'm
I don't
talking about
find
traveling on the channel.
I can
So,
walk the
oh my
streets in New
gosh.
York. No one will say anything to you. They'll actually, like, if you're walking next to someone, they'll actually push right through the middle. They're kind of rude. They're kind of
Oh, I mean, that's big cities, right? New York,
rude.
Paris.
Yes.
I can't talk because Parisians are the most rude people on earth. Oh, Lord Jesus. Anyway, yes. So,
I
okay.
won't talk about what happened to me in Paris.
No, I fight every time when I'm in Paris. Seriously. I told my husband we can't move to Paris, I'll end up in jail. Because I'll fight with people. They're so rude. Customer service doesn't exist there. But anyway, back to us. So, what advice would you give me? So you said so. I will go to the Barbados. I want to go to the Caribbean, and because I met you, I really want to go there. And do you have any other tips for me when I meet people on the street? For me to behave, how I should behave with people around me.
Just you know, I only thing I could think about was the morning, good afternoon. If it comes to me, I'll say it. If it comes,
Okay, right.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, and you, Vicky?
Yeah, for me, I would just say, like, try to get oriented and see what's happening where you are, because it'll be different depending on where you are. Like I said, bigger cities, people are a little bit rude, hustle and bustle, don't really sit and talk. Um, the one thing that I can tell you is, don't assume because we're the same color, like you said, that they're
I
going
would.
to be open and just
Yeah,
embrace you, because that's just not how we are.
yeah. And that's one thing that I've learned because I would go to Caribbean like, hey sis, like we family. And I'll do the same
Trust
thing
me,
with
you go to Barbados and you do that, somebody will help you. They love tourists in Barbados, and even if I get lost, let's say I go somewhere in Barbados and I get lost, and I see someone, I can ask, how do I get to this place, and that person will tell me. I can stop a bus and ask them, how do I get to this place? They'll drop me to where the closest, obviously, that they are going, and then they'll tell me exactly the next bus that I can get to, get to my destination.
Mhm.
So tourists, our culture is very friendly like that. Like the
That's nice.
customer,
Okay,
it's very friendly.
cool.
So we had a little bit of a, what I want to say, color moment in Jamaica. We went to Jamaica and my husband was trying to talk to someone. The guy was being really, really rude, not answering his questions, like, it was kind of like brushing him off. And then I walk up, and then all of a sudden the demeanor changed. It was like, oh, she's one of us. And he started talking to my husband completely different. And it was like the opposite of white privilege. I told my husband, oh, you got your color card with you. You got your color. You got your color.
That's nice.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Jamaican, I don't know. It's a place that I'd love to visit as well. They seem to be very special.
Well,
Uh,
I have two Jamaican friends. They don't live in Jamaica though. But they are very nice. They're two women, and one of them is my a very very good friend. And she is very very nice. I've never been to Jamaica. Not in really not a fan of wanting to go. I want to go to like, big countries. But I must say that the Jamaicans that I have met have been nice to me.
yeah. The one thing I can share with you, and there's many, is that when you arrive in Africa, and let's say not when you're just a tourist in the street,
Mhm.
but if you meet like an elder, because there's a lot of respect for elders. Let's say I introduce you to one of my aunts or somebody, a mom, that she's way older than you. You cannot call her by her name. You cannot call like somebody that's like 70 or a mom or 50 if you just 30. You
Yeah,
call her by a first name. It's really rude. If somebody introduce you to the mom, oh, that's my mom, you can
you
say,
gotta
hi,
say
mom,
Miss.
mom,
Oh,
hi, mom. Yes. No, madam, no, hi, mom. Or if it's a aunt older, you can say, hi, auntie, you know. But it's difficult to call. It's a bit rude and cold to call elders by their name. You
What
know.
for us, what we do for older people, you have to say Miss and their last name, unless they tell you to call them by their, their first name. But
Yeah.
you will say, well, this is Miss whoever, and
Yeah.
that's who you call them.
Yeah.
Or if they have like a nickname that they introduce you with, but you don't ever dare call them anything else other than what you were told to call them.
Yeah, but if you like a private environment, like you are invited in somebody's home, right?
Yeah.
And there's elders that there, there's a grandpa that there, there's a grandmother there. If the person that brings you say, "Oh, this is my mom" or "This is my grandpa," you can say, "Hi, grandpa," something. "Hi, grandma," something. "Hi,
Hmm.
mom." That's how it was very difficult for me because growing up in Europe, even my mother-in-law, I cannot call her to this day mom. You know, I'll call her nanny because it's like my it's the grandmother of my kids. So I took
Uh-huh.
advantage of that to call her granny, right? But it's something that's uh,
Yes.
because of
Yeah.
this thing that we all family, we all it's easy for people to say, "Hey, brother." People on the street we call you mom. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah, I
okay,
was
Basically,
raised that way. I was raised that way too about the respect for elders. I'm
yeah,
seeing it going away more and more for some strange reason. But I remember my first job, and I was 20 years younger than one of the people that worked for me as a supervisor. And my manager was telling me, "No, her name is Mary." I go, "No, she's Miss Mary,"
yeah,
mhm.
because
yeah,
that's how I was
exactly,
raised.
yeah. Yeah. No, totally. Like having like at least as you were saying, Kim, showing the respect is extremely important. Just
Yeah.
just calling
Mhm.
them like Mary, that would be extremely rude.
Yes.
If they're elder. So yeah. So what is one of a typical food? Let's say somebody traveling to Barbados. What is the must that I should try?
So food.
Yeah. What's the
Barbadian
typical
dishes is cuckoo and flying fish.
Cuckoo? Let me
Uh,
write it down so I can find it better. Cuckoo, like
no,
Ku
C,
C. Mm-hmm.
uh-huh. O-U,
Okay.
C-O-U.
C-O-U. Cuckoo and
Flying fish.
flying flake. Never heard of that. Flying,
Like flying
spelling.
fish.
Oh,
Like
let me
fish
see
that
the
fly.
picture. Yeah.
they and they really do fly.
Yeah, they do.
Cuckoo and flying fish.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
so good.
Right. So when I go to Barbados, that's the dish that I need to try.
And
Cuckoo
you go
and
to
flying
oyster
fish.
and you can go to there's a place called Oystins,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot where a lot of tourists go to. So it's like a Friday night, you go up there, they sell a lot of fish because it's right by a market actually. But it's very, very good. And it has been up there for many years. A lot of tourists visit there too as well. But
Right.
yeah,
So
cuckoo and flying fish is what you definitely need to try.
need to try. Excellent. Do you have a specific drink? I like trying a beer of a country. I don't drink much, but I
Um,
like to
I
come
think
and
we have Banks beer. Banks beer is our beer. I think I could be
okay.
wrong because I guess it's
It's
so
okay.
popular. But
Do
I'm
you
sure
have any
Banks beer
other
is it.
drinks, even like soft drinks or
Um,
anything?
oh, we have Mobby. There's
Okay.
You ever heard of Mobby? Like Mobby? No.
No. How
Oh
do
my
you write
God,
it?
it's so good. I'm sorry if you should have told me before I brought a bottle from the kitchen
You
because
can, but we can see. What is it?
it's
How do you
like a
write it?
syrup. It's a syrup that you put inside of like water and you shake it. And it's a really nice, refreshing drink, especially when it's cold.
Malbe.
Mauby, Mauby.
Maupy. No. Oh, never heard of it. Never seen it in my life. Vicky, do you know those?
No, I'd never heard of them.
Yeah, it's called
I guess I need
Moby
to go to
Food.
Barbados now.
Yes, I
Yes, you
know.
should. You
Yeah.
should.
Okay. And Vicky, what should I try before coming to when I come to America? What is a typical
So here
except
in America, we are again regional.
yeah,
So if you're, I think you're landing in New York, you definitely want to try New York pizza.
New York
And
pizza. Okay.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
so it's very thin crust pizza.
So that's the
Um,
name of the pizza, New York
so
pizza?
it's a style. It's a style. So it's called New York
Oh,
style pizza. So like you can go to a place, they may not be a New York style pizzeria, but you want to try the New York style pizza. And
right.
a lot of people say you haven't lived unless you got a hot dog from a hot dog vendor or a gyro from a halal stand. That's New York. I think you're
Right.
also going. I think also you're going to go to Boston. So Boston is like famous for seafood. So you definitely want to try like the Boston clam chowder or lobster rolls, something like that. It's like I said, we're so regional.
Okay.
It's not like we
I
have
need to
an
expect.
American thing. And like you said, if you'd like to try the beer, beers are
Yeah.
going to vary by region as well. And
Really?
not even just by state, it can vary by city. What is the regional beer?
That's so interesting, Vicky. I've been in
Mhm.
America several times, but the stereotype sticks with you. It's burger, McDonald's, and that's it, right?
It
And
is because
whatever
that
you
is
say,
universal. That is universal everywhere. And so I tell people you can get McDonald's anywhere, so don't try that. Try the
Oh, wait.
regional favorites.
You know
yeah,
what you should try too when you go to Barbados? There's a place called Chefette. It's in big competition with KFC in Barbados. It's
Mm.
so good. It only recently, I think they did it. They took it to New York, I think, and a lot of Bajans lined up. There was a line around the corner just for this one food Chefette van. And
you
also
have to write it down because
there's a
the people watching need to go and check it. So
I,
write
I
it
will
down.
I will I'll text it to you so you can write it down.
Yeah, I'll put it on the
And
description.
also
Yeah.
there's snow cones where it's like this if you, it's a hot day, which is always hot in Barbados, and you there's these little carts, these guys that sell these cone, this call it snow cone, which is fine ice with syrup. You tell them which color you want. I normally get when I was younger I used to get the red one, but I normally like the coconut one. So you get that and you get them to put a little sweet milk on top of it, and oh my gosh, it's so refreshing. It is so good.
Right. Okay. I
And I'm
can't
biased
wait.
with the snow cone because my father used to be a snow cone vendor.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay. That's nice. I'm waiting for you to send me all the details.
Yeah.
And Vicky, I'm gonna go to Texas too.
Okay, so Texas, you have to have the barbecue. So Texas is famous for its beef. So they
Right.
do. So they're brisket. So if you go to barbecue, you definitely want to try the brisket and the beef ribs. And then also if you can find a really good steak place, so that's where you're going to get your good Tex. People say Tex-Mex, Mexican food is the best. I'm from California. I don't think so.
Yeah. So what do you have in California?
In California, we actually have Mexican food, not a spin on it. Not a spin on it. So I actually try to go to a place where it is actually Mexican food, not, an interpretation of it. So we like our street tacos. We like,
Polito.
the real authentic Mexican, not Taco Bell.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually planning to go eat the real tacos in Mexico during my sabbatical,
Yes.
right? I've
And
been
and you will
waiting to,
see
yeah.
that we've messed them up here. But the
Yeah, I
closest
know.
that you're going to get
I've
to
tried.
real,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Go
closest
on.
that you're going to get is if you can find a place that's actually opened by someone who barely speaks English.
Yeah. But
Because they
I was
haven't.
surprised when I
Yeah.
arrived to Orlando. I went to Walmart, and then what's the other one? Target.
Yes, Target.
Target, yeah. And you had people serving you, but they didn't speak English. They were all speaking Spanish.
Hmm.
At that time, it was like, I don't know, in 2009 or something like that.
So
Yeah,
those are the people that I will ask, where do you go eat? And they'll
right.
tell me.
But I have
And
to
then
ask in
I can go get
Spanish.
the authentic because they don't want the American versions of whatever it is, whether it's, Italian food, Chinese food, whatever. They'll tell you where they go get theirs.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
Not the
excellent.
tourist
That's great.
place.
I need to learn my Spanish. I need to make sure that I practice Spanish very well before arriving in Mexico. All right, all right, all right. Do you know any artist from each other's place? Like from, I mean, Barbados, we know Rihanna, Riri,
Yeah.
right? Of course, right? We know what's her name, the model from Jamaica. Come on,
Who's
she's.
the
I mean,
model
maybe
from?
no, the model from Jamaica. What's her name? Uh, you don't know
No. What am I
the
missing?
English, the British model that is originally from Jamaica. She's old now. She may be in her 50s, like us. I mean, old. Like
Oh crap.
oh, no, Naomi Campbell, guys, come on.
Oh, she's from Jamaica. I didn't know she
Oh,
was from Jamaica.
I think she is right.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't think she was. I didn't realize she was from Jamaica. That's why I was drawing a blank.
Yeah, Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell. Let's
Mhm.
see.
Yeah,
Uh,
Naomi Campbell.
yeah,
yeah.
Naomi Campbell. Yeah, she has Jamaican. I think so. Yes, yes, yes. She's from Jamaica. So yeah, that's what I know as artist. But as singer,
Grace
yes,
Jones.
Rihanna. And for America, well, there's so many
Oh,
the choices.
there's
There's
so many from America. There's so many.
Beyonce. There's so many. So
Mhm.
yeah. Do you know any African artist,
I do not.
musician?
Yeah, wait. There's those
Um,
African beat guys. Wait. I could do timeout. Let me ask Laurent.
yes, as
That-
um m- m- maybe
is
you.
is is Burna Boy from Africa?
I think so. These are young people. I only know the old ones. My girls would know. Burner Boy. I think so. Wait, wait, wait. A lot of them. Burner
Because if
Boy.
he is, he has been
He's
to.
Nigerian. He is.
Oh, and he
He
has
is.
met our prime minister actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
He is.
because she goes to, there was a video online where I think like there was she was actually greeting him when he was going up on stage. Yeah, and she
Okay.
thinks
and
she's really cool, so
Yeah.
she'll be at those
and
parties.
yeah, I'm drawing a blank, but there is a comedian, and I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she's from Nigeria, and I can't remember
Who?
her name because she talks about being a Nigerian lesbian, and I can't,
Oh.
and how tough her life was. I can't remember her name to save my life.
Yeah. A Nigerian uh, lesbian. That would be tough.
Yes,
Because Africa is still not that open at all.
right.
That's a conversation for another time. But in some places, it's still an offense, and you can be jailed.
Yes.
It's that bad. So yeah, yeah. There's a few. Anyway, it's nice that you P Square. Do you know what's P Square?
I'll have to
No.
hear the song.
No. Davido. No.
No.
And
See,
that's
you're opening my
interesting.
eyes here. I'm gonna have to
No,
start checking
because
people out.
I discovered them. They're just young artists that are known in America because they sing with a lot of American rapper music, and it depends also of the generation, isn't it?
Hmm.
So yeah.
I will
Okay.
probably have to hear the song because I am horrible at remembering musicians' names.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't
Yeah.
remember
Me
anything, but if you play the
too.
song, I can sing all the words.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
the same here. Same here. Okay. What else? What else? What else? So I think we spoke about the food. We spoke about traveling, and um, right. And the other, what do people always assume about your accent? Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. What do people always assume about your accent or the way you speak? Like, Kim, somebody meets you on the street now, you're in the UK, without talking to you, without you speaking first, what do
Mhm.
people think that you are, where you're from? And when you speak, do they can
I can't get them.
s- spot, recognize that you are from Barbados? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
I've had people that met me on sorry.
It's okay.
I've met people that have met me and asked me if I was Jamaican.
Okay.
Uh, but I don't know if sometimes too, like Barbados is like so small, they forget that we're there. Yeah, because yeah, I have met somebody that asked me if I was Jamaican, but
Okay. Was it the first
mm,
time?
was it? Mm, yeah, the first and only time that I had that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. It's usually when you go outside anyway that people will try to figure where you're from. And you,
yeah.
Vicky, because you've traveled as well quite a bit. Where do
People
people say
can
you're
people
from?
can tell I'm from America when I travel outside, and people when I travel inside of the US can tell I'm from California.
Oh
What
wait,
I
oh, go ahead.
oh no,
When you're finished.
okay. What I find interesting is if it's on the phone. When I talk to people on the phone, they get an impression of who I am and what I am. And then when they see me, I always get a look like, I didn't know you were black.
Oh, this is something that's very interesting. I heard it with other people. And something that you said that also caught my eye is like you spoke about people will know that you are from California. So depending on where you are from the state, I know the Texan have an accent, right? So is the accent are so diverse in the state?
There are some that you can tell, but for me, I can't pick it up. Like there are people from the South who can tell, oh, you're from Alabama and you're from Florida. I can't. It just all sounds like the South to me.
Okay.
And people say that they can tell I'm from California because of the way I phrase things. So, like we have freeways and highways, and here in California, we always say the 405 freeway. Whereas in other parts of the
Oh,
country, they say you get on 405 or you get on 5. And we say, no, you get on the 101 to the 210 to the, and they go, oh, because you
okay.
put the in there, you're from California.
Wow,
Right. That I didn't
that's
know, you
interesting.
see. Okay, that's interesting. That just show how rich America is as well. You see, because of the stereotype, you just bind American all together. Well, they're all the same, and there's this and that. But there's actually
Yes.
a lot of diversity within the country
Yeah.
as well.
And that's what I tell people all the time. We're huge. So if you don't like one place, try another. Don't label us all by the one place you went.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true because I went to America for 2 days back in 2019. And it was just a weekend. And I had like I got lost in the airport. I got off when I got off to go get like a taxi. I walked through this dark alleyway, and the guy that I mean, he could have kidnapped me and sold me for money, I guess. No one knew where I was, and I didn't know where I was. But he called his friend that was a taxi guy, and he got me and to my hotel, and then also he came back and picked me up to take me back when I was leaving. And I got into what I think like the for you all out there, when you have security guards, they have vehicles, right? Because I think y'all they can't stand up for 8 hours.
Right.
It's against some law.
Hmm.
In Barbados, they stand up for 8 hours, by the way. But I got into what do you call it, a patrol car or whatever it is, with a stranger. He was a black guy, and he was showing me where I was going. And I got in the car. Like I said, he could have
Don't go
carried
in
me
the
away
car with
too.
strangers.
Stranger danger.
And
Yeah, stranger danger.
I had the time of my life, but I was all alone. And normally people tell you in America, everybody is like so dangerous and stuff. But I think too that when you travel to places, the people that really gets like a real at them is what you bring.
Mm,
Whatever energy you go there looking for,
Mhm.
unconsciously or consciously, is
yeah,
what you'll get.
yeah.
Because I haven't had a bad experience yet with traveling. Only when I went to Poland, they didn't know. They thought, I am convinced that they thought that I was from Africa or something, because they didn't know that my passport could have gotten me into Poland. The girl at the when you're coming in, you know, they stamp your
Mhm.
passport, immigration when you come in. She took my passport. Let's say that this is my passport, and she not only scanned it, but she did like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they do
And
that.
when I
They
was
were-
leaving, when I
Yeah.
was leaving, the person at the when I first went to get my bags check-in, they were asking me, "Don't you need a visa to go to England?" No, I don't. And she's like, "1 minute, I'll call." She calls her supervisor. He tells her the same thing. Left there, went upstairs now to get my bags checked in. When I'm getting my bags checked in, the immigration, no, we got in our got our bags checked in, and then immigration, he was rude. He took my
Mhm.
passport and he just flipped through it. And because the lady at the beginning, she just stamped me at the very last page on my passport. So he flipped through, he didn't see it. How did you get in this country? I got a stamp. Mind you, I'm with my British husband, by the way. And he's very rude. He says, "Why? How do you get in this country? I don't see a stamp." And he throws my passport back at me, and I patiently look for my stamp, and I showed him back. And I said to myself in that moment, I remember the guy Theo that you mentioned on your
Yeah,
channel when you talk about
Tayo.
travel,
Tayo.
and I felt so bad in that moment. Like this is what Africans go through with their
Oh,
passport when
yeah.
they're
Mhm.
traveling.
Yeah.
And because it made me feel, although I can travel to all those countries, they've never seen a Barbadian passport yet. And I was
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
very first one, and I got treated like a dog, basically. You know, that's the Bajan slang that would say you got treated horribly. And
Mhm.
then when I was going out, the final exit is the third person. The same night, we're leaving now, and the lady's checking your passport to make sure you got your stuff to get on the plane. And she now has to call downstairs to make sure that I don't need a visa to go to the UK. Like,
Yeah.
really?
But
So, yeah,
people don't know. Like
they don't.
until I did the passport privilege thing. For me, Jamaican, Barbadian, I was shocked when I saw your how much Barbadian can travel. So imagine somebody that works there, and a lot of these people aren't aware. Because
Yeah,
even for me, I have a
Mhm.
dual nationality. I have a French and Gabonese passport, but I have to fight all the time. Even with the French passport, often they want to make sure that it's really my passport and that I didn't
Mhm.
just take my picture there. You know, there was scrutiny in India. No, it wasn't in India. It was in China. When I went to China
Yes.
with my kid, oh my goodness, everybody left the airport. They hold us there for I don't know how long, you know, just checking that something. And same when we came out, it was a very, I mean, I'm used to it now. When I
mm-hmm.
travel, I know that, and I have locks, please. Okay. It's like
Yeah,
they sometimes will check my hair, or sometime, which happen all the time, I will be chosen to have a random search into my
Mhm.
bags. In India, I had dogs. They looked into my period pad. They looked into everywhere because they saw that, I have locks, so I must be smoking something.
yeah,
There's the stereotype, right?
yeah,
So who people see you for? With that, they may think that maybe I'm Jamaican, and so it's something.
yeah,
But not to say that Jamaicans smoke, but that's how they,
yeah.
Mhm.
the way they see things. But yeah, it's a shame, but that's just life and
I didn't
reality.
like it.
Yeah,
This the
and
first time, even when I went to the US. So yes, I have my visa to go in because we need a visa to go to the US, and I didn't go through that. You know, when I come to England, I didn't go through that. To go to Poland and experience that, and it's not like if they communicate to each other, it was horrible. Like
Mhm.
people have to go through that when they want to just travel to another country. You know, like that is just hard. People just
it's
want to
re-
have
Mhm.
experiences. You know.
it's reality for me. I now take it as part of traveling. That's it. It is what it is. Yeah,
Yeah. Just one thing I want to
I
tell you, Jazz, too, is
yeah.
so back in my corporate world, I worked for a company who was headquartered in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And for some strange reason, The person who, I never drive because I don't drive in snow, but the person forgot that they were supposed to take me to the airport and they took off. And the person says, oh, no problem. We'll get the company car service to take you to the airport. No problem. So this limousine pulls up and I go out, and the driver, he's black, and he looks at me and I go, oh, you're here for me? And he goes, no, I'm here for Vicki. And I go, yeah, that's me. And he lets me in, and we're driving, and the glass lowers down. He goes, I just got to ask you, I've never driven anyone like you in this car. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I've never seen a black person in this car. Who are you? And I go, I'm not a big deal at this company at all. Just someone called in a favor to get me to the airport.
Ah,
He goes,
yeah.
I've been here in America for 7 years and I've never seen a black person in this car. And I go, well, what do you mean you've been here 7 years? He goes, I'm a refugee from Somalia
Wow.
and I've never driven my people in this car.
Oh my goodness. That is heartbreaking, you
And
know?
we talked all the
7
way to the
years.
airport.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
So I
Guys.
think that too, that stereotype, they had that stereotype. We don't belong in any type of position where we
Yeah.
could be in a, car service or anything like that. So I thought that that was
Yeah.
interesting. That, wow, I had no idea that when they came here, they had no idea just how much they could advance. No one told them, and they never
Exactly.
saw it.
Yeah. And that's shocking, isn't it?
Hmm.
That is shocking. Guys, this is a conversation for another time, but in France, where I grew up, you would see people with PhD. Okay.
Hmm.
They're working as guard at the door, like the nightclub, the guys that are outside, you know, and they also embrace that idea that they can't get better than that,
Hmm.
because of who they are, African and whatever, they can't get better than that. And the people that are educated.
Hmm.
But in France, there's a lot. I mean, at the time, it's not that it changed so much today. It was very difficult. That's why we moved to the UK, by the way. I love the UK. The
Hmm.
UK has its own negative, but it's a country where I felt the most free. I live here as Jazz. I don't live here as an African woman. I
Right.
had businesses. I was working with schools when I just arrived, teaching English and Spanish. I was not the one teaching Spanish, but I had teachers,
Hmm.
so I went to schools, head teachers, and say, I can offer after school clubs, language clubs. I could never do that in France. When I came here, my husband was just stagnating at the same level, he and I, in France. He came here, his salary doubled,
Yeah.
tripled, you know, because in the UK, it's what can you do? What are your competencies?
Hmm.
It doesn't mean they're not racist, but what can you do? It's rare that they ask you even your diplomas, right? In France, like Vicky you were saying, on the phone, people, and because as African, the way I grew up, I had to hide my ethnicity on my CV. You don't want to put there a name that is so ethnic that your CV is
Hmm.
already thrown in the bin. But my maiden name was a name that sounded Spanish, and Eulalie, Eulalie en français, it's
Uh-huh.
French. So they'll talk to me on the phone and all of that. And when I arrive, they're like, French people are direct. You black.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know. And then I'm there. They have to interview me, but they wouldn't have given me that chance if I had put my full African name there, right? Same for renting a house in France. Over the phone, they don't know who I am because I don't sound like an African, typical African. So when I arrived, they're like, I'm sorry, but the landlord does not lend rent to a certain type of people. Okay. No,
Wow.
French people are direct. They are direct.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, and so when I came here, guys, I went to the job center. A woman with a hijab came toward me. It's like, how can I help you? I jumped back because I'm like, what does she want? Why? Because in France, you would never, ever. It's a light country where you have to assimilate, meaning that you have to strip back your
Mhm.
origin. This is why I was so French. You spoke to me before. I was not just like I'm an African and no, I had to wear sleek hair if I wanted to change to have a job. I
Mhm.
would never wear locks. How? Because you need to assimilate. So when I come in the UK, this woman come toward me. I'm like, what she want? She was working there. I was shocked. I couldn't understand it. You go to Tesco, like the supermarket, you see old
Mhm.
people 70, they're the ones serving you. You go to like a museum, it's a large lady like me serving you. What? For in France, in the CV, they say tenue correcte exigée at the time. It's like correct attire.
Mhm.
Read between the line, a size zero.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't yeah. So anyway, guys, it's and that's why about that topic is like what I was telling to my colleague that was from Guadeloupe, from the Caribbean, is like when we walk on the street, because the Caribbean, French Caribbean, they're French. I became naturalized French because I'm born in Africa, but they are French
Mhm.
generation, like American, the
Mhm.
generation, so they
Yes.
are French. So that make that difference between them and us and them, like African and them. But the
Mhm.
thing is, on the street, when somebody sees us both walking, they see two black people.
Right.
That's it. They don't know, oh, that's my sister. That's my, she's a French. No, they see two black people. This is why it's very important to, yeah. Anyway, that was the best. To come together. And I see
Yes.
a lot of change in the dynamic of, and I thank a lot America for that, honestly, because it's that eye opening, that awareness of how no matter where you go in the world, Kim, you just said, no matter where you go in the world, Black people are somehow targeted or hated for some reason. Doesn't matter where you come from, right?
Mhm.
We are always conscious to, like, as travelers. There's places that I'm going and I'm like, going there. I went to Romania and I was scared to go,
Mhm.
even to Poland and all of that. I'm black. I might be able, a lot of others may not have to think about that. But we
Right.
sometimes like, okay, where is it safe for me to go?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there are places I won't go here in America.
Really? Oh, tell me. So I don't go get lost there.
Well, you know what? It's a stereotype too, and so I shouldn't say I shouldn't go there, but I do worry about the South because both of my parents were from the South.
Mm, okay.
Going back to
Yeah.
visit family when I was young, I experienced a lot of racism. Pull into the gas station and you ask where the bathroom is, and they say it's around back, and you circle the building a couple of times, and there's no bathroom, and they're basically telling you you don't get to use our bathroom because you're the wrong color. Now this is the 1980s. This is like recent. This is so I'm
Sure.
experiencing these things, and it's like they stuck with me. And I do realize people change and people evolve, and so I do have a little bit of a concern about going to the South.
Wow.
Mhm.
I wanted to visit the South because of history. I wanted to go see Alabama, see all these places,
You
see
don't need
where
to
the
be scared.
martyrs were.
Yeah, you don't need to be scared because, I still have lots of friends who go and have a great time. It was just, I have to get over my childhood trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but because when I went to Poland, I didn't have. When we were inside of Poland, the people were friendly,
They
and it was
Hmm.
a
are.
really good experience. Yeah, it was a really good experience. It was just at the airport,
Hmm.
because they didn't
Yeah.
know, they'd never see my passport, and they probably thought that I was African. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. No, no. Poland is
Yeah,
amazing. I've been there and I loved it.
yeah,
Romania, I was amazed how you'll have the odd look. Wherever you go in the world, you'll
Yep.
have the look. But the world, I think for me, the world is a beautiful place. There's not a place
it
where I
is.
wouldn't go. The only place was before the war of Russia. It's not a place that I would have gone by myself. I still don't feel comfortable before the
Right.
war, before everything that happened.
Yeah.
I was not comfortable. I always wanted to go, but I never felt that I could go by myself. I wanted to go
Right.
with a friend that was Russian because I felt that I would not be safe to go by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah. So if you have been to Africa, to the Caribbean for the first time, what was your impression and what's the experience that you had?
For me, going to Jamaica was weird because I
Okay.
just expected to get off the plane and just see my people. And yeah, we talk different, but you're my people. And it wasn't that way. I was actually shocked to see that they treated me a little bit different because of the time of year that I went. I actually had quite a few Jamaicans say, our people don't come here in this time of year. They come when it's cheaper. So do you have
Okay.
a lot of, so you must have a lot of money.
All right.
And,
Wow.
and so I was treated really differently. Whereas my friends who said they come, you know, in the summertime were treated like, oh, we don't have time for you because you're poor, and they only cater to try to help the white people.
Right. Do you think it's about the when you are a tourist? Because although I'm African,
Hmm.
I have to fight with that card and write on my forehead that I'm African when I'm in Africa, because I have to fight hard for
Hmm.
them to not treat me as a tourist and not give me the tourist price for everything. Because when I open my mouth, and they have something even when you don't talk. Sometimes it's funny. I go to the market and I tie my head. I wear the African. I wear something that is so typical that they can't recognize. The pace that you walk in, because African people is hard. They're slow. Nobody's running to go where, right? So the way we walk, because of the cold here, maybe I don't know, we walk faster. So
Yeah.
they do know, this one is not here. It's just, so they kind of like recognize that you're not from here, even if you're trying to fake, even if you're trying to, what's the word I'm trying to say?
Trying to
Blend
blend
in with
in.
them.
Yeah, to blend in. You're not blending in. Sometimes I'm like, and then I point. I don't speak, because if I speak, I'll say this. African talk like they have a fight with you, like in Cameroon. So you like this, even that this is so bad that I'm like just pointing, and but they still see the way you dress, the shoes that you have. They're so, yes. Do you think it was that you are a tourist, so you have more money?
What they were so what I talked about was, I think it's the time of year, so on season versus off season. And so we went in the off season, which they say people don't come in the off season because things are more expensive. But we typically try to go places when we're for our anniversary. Our anniversary is off season in most places. So it was just a dynamic that I felt was really, really weird. It was like, get off me. Get off me. She got money, get off me. But then my friends go in July and August and they're like, yeah, we have to beg people to help.
Oh wow, okay.
Wow.
But they're
Okay.
all over the white tourists.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
And
Interesting.
when you talk about Africa, I'm still doing my genealogy like I shared with you. So I'm learning all of my makeup and I want to go to the places of my makeup. So far it's, Nigeria and Cameroon, Benin, Togo. So I'm learning all the
Cameroon.
places that my
Yeah.
makeup is from. And that's where I want to start my African adventures to see where I come from.
Right. So if you figure out that's Cameroon, Gabon,
Mhm.
let me know. Or anywhere in Africa, I'll be happy to walk you through and travel
Thank
with you.
you.
And yeah. Okay.
Thank
And
you.
you've been to America. You had a great experience, you said?
I did. I had a
Yeah.
fantastic experience all by myself.
Yeah.
I
Where
felt
did
like a
you
big
go?
girl.
Where
I
did
went
you go?
Miami.
Oh,
I went
Miami. Yeah, I've been
Miami.
to Miami
Melting
too.
pot.
Yeah. Yeah,
But the
exactly.
part
Miami.
that I went to, I had to walk a lot. I
Yeah.
had to walk, so but I had fun. I did have a lot of fun. I'm more of. I also went to Canada. Oh my
Yeah.
God, Canada was the best. It
Really?
felt like every store I went in, I felt like if I was entering into a five-diamond hotel. With
Oh
the
wow.
customer serve a five-diamond hotel with the customer service that I was getting. Because I
Wow.
Mhm.
went to go to my cousin's wedding. And it was only for a weekend too. and it was so
Mhm.
good. Like the people, even when you walk into the mall, like somebody will approach you, like you wanna, we're selling this or that, and they'll give you
Mhm.
samples to taste even before you buy. So even when I got my cousin bought me something from this Chinese place, and my whenever we got back home, my uncle was like, "Why did you buy? You just walk around the mall and you just sample everything. By the time you leave, you'll be full."
Uh,
you know
yeah.
so that was good too. And then obviously, I came to the UK and that was the longest, the 3 weeks that when I came over here to meet LeBron's sisters. Yeah, so I'm
Okay.
a big country girl.
Good, good, good. Is there a country of Africa that you wish to visit or curious to know about?
South Africa, because I babysat for a guy that he
South Africa.
lives, yeah, he lives in South Africa. Yeah. And
South
he
Africa is
seems
amazing.
the personality, the dealing with him was so good. Like his the way how he treated people was like so good, and you could tell that it's just because he's English, but it's just like he adapted their culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So go to South Africa. It's amazing. And the thing is, when you want to travel to Africa, there's a video that I'm talking about my 5 best countries.
Mhm.
It's an easy entry to Africa because Africa can be challenging for people who live in the West, like in, you know, Europe, America.
Mhm.
If like Central Africa can be tough because the culture shock is like from the airport, like boom, you know, it's big. But when you arrive in South Africa, it's very Europeanized, very you won't get lost. You won't feel so different because the infrastructure are there. There's yeah, it's very close to if you were in Europe. So it's a great place to start with, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. Cape Town, oh my goodness, I fell in love to the of this place. Yeah,
I
Mhm.
had I had watched a American couple on YouTube that had moved to South Africa, and they were also talking about how amazing it was.
it's so beautiful, honestly, and it's cheap. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's what they
It's
were
not
saying too, that it was really,
expensive
really
at
cheap.
all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, they make wine. Wine is cheap if you drink wine. The food is really Europeanized, like, steaks and etc. And it's so cheap.
Mhm.
Hotels compared to the other part of Africa, Central Africa, Cape Town, and that's what it would be more expensive. But it is so nice.
Good to know.
And yeah, for me, the
It's
Caribbean, I
good
want
to
to
know.
go everywhere. I'm a
Barbados
traveler.
first.
Yes, definitely. Barbados. I'm going to Barbados. I want to go to Martinique, the French Caribbean as
Yes.
well, and Guadeloupe. Anyway, I want to go everywhere. So
Mhm.
yeah, if I could, I'll go everywhere. And for America, I've been there several times before. I used to feel like Orlando was a fake America because you go to Disney. It's
Mhm.
Orlando Disney.
Yes.
It doesn't. It's like you are just in the planet. I don't know, Disney planet, right?
Yes.
It's so fake.
Yes. It is. It's not America at all. You can get so
It's not
lost.
exactly. So, but I've been to Miami. I've been to Washington, and but that's the first time that I will come by myself as a solo traveler to America. And you said something earlier, Kim, and then I forgot. The first time I came to America because of the stereotype, which is so bad, the television and propaganda, is that I was sat in the car. I'm so ashamed to say it. A guy came, was just passing, doing his own business with a hood. I dodged underneath my chair because I got scared that
Yeah.
somebody would shoot at me.
Yes.
I'm ashamed to say
Oh
it,
my
but I
god.
was so
No,
scared.
it's
Like,
TV. No, it's
Don't be
TV.
ashamed. It's the
eh,
stereotypes that they
yeah,
that they portray, and they only show the negative stuff in the news. So
Of
if you've got
course.
1,000 people and one person with a hoodie shoots up, but the other 999 went off and got their PhDs and
exactly.
cured childhood cancer, you're never going to hear about the 999. You're only going to hear about the one.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's something that a lot of us don't understand is like America for me is a continent.
Yes.
with a lot of mini countries that we call state inside. It's huge. So
Yes.
if you compare, I was telling my kids because they were already even for me traveling there, and it's like America and the UK, or America even and Europe, right?
Yeah.
I mean Europe. If you count Russia, that's Asia. Russia is in Asia,
Yeah.
Europe. Yeah.
They
So
claim they're Europe, but it looks closer to Asia.
yeah, the Europe, but yeah, it's like, but America is big, so obviously everything will be like time hundreds, right? Of what's happening in the UK. You can't compare with the UK, it's so tiny, right? So yes, stereotype can really keep you at home and never go anywhere because
Oh
you
yeah.
believe if you believe the news, you don't leave your house because everywhere is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
why I say don't be afraid to go to the South, because I unfortunately, when I was younger, encountered the stereotype of the racist white person, but that's
yeah,
not everybody.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Guys, I think, do you have any questions? I'm looking if there's anything else. Is there anything else that you want to address regarding the topic? Um,
No,
I'm
I
looking.
think
No,
we
I
got, I
think we
really liked it,
covered
but I think we're going to
everything.
have a part 2 and 3 for the other
I'd,
things.
I'd, yeah, I'd love to. Yes, that's okay. What I would like to do is, yeah, if you want, we can have a part two.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think it's a nice discussion, and
It
we've been
is.
here for 1 hour, and it's interesting. I've learned a lot, by the way, with both of you. You know, America. Everybody think they know in America. They know what America is about, but I haven't had a clue. And it's gonna be the first time I'm going solo. I'm a bit worried, but I know that I'm going to be okay. I'm a big girl. I should be able to, you know,
Yeah. You're
Mhm.
stand
gonna
on
be
my
dead. You're
feet.
gonna have the time of your life.
I
Yes, you
am
are.
sure. I'm sure. And yes, I'm counting on you for Barbados to tell me exactly where to go.
Sounds
So,
like the worst to worst person.
all right,
So
ladies,
serious.
it was so nice to have a chat with you. Please, before you go, can you tell us, tell the audience where to find you and what, you've already said that at the beginning, but it's good to,
Mhm.
introduce yourself again and say what they can find on your channel.
Mhm.
You go first, Vicky, because I went first the last time.
Okay. So I'm Vicki, and my YouTube channel is at Aging on Your Terms, and you will find hopefully inspiration to help you plan for your later years so that you aren't dependent on someone, or someone doesn't come in and take over your life, because that's not what you want. But I hope I'm doing it in a way that inspires you, not scare you, but inspire you.
You do
Definitely.
inspire me, Vicky. Trust me.
Yeah,
You
all
open
the
up my
time.
eyes and make me think like, girl, you're gonna get old. So these are
Yeah,
the things that
completely.
we
Yeah.
black people don't like to deal with.
True.
We're every
Yeah.
day that we're on this planet, we're a little bit older, and we just don't
Yeah.
know how long we're going to be here. So, like I tell people all the time, I have car insurance. I don't plan to have an accident, but I have car insurance. So that's
Yeah.
why you got to kind of think of that as aging. I may not need the walker, or I may not need the wheelchair, but if my house is ready for it, I can come back home. I don't have to go to a rehab facility, or I don't have to go to,
Yeah.
a nursing home. So if you just make sure it's ready for you, I mean, you don't have to have you knock down the walls right now, because you just don't know. And you don't have to change everything, but knowing I want to come home and I'm starting to put in grab bars, or I've got my estate plans there in case I lose my mind. My husband, my kids can take over and make sure nobody comes in and steals my money, or, kills me and robs me. Just think of it that way. It's just your life insurance. That's true life insurance, estate planning.
Yeah.
The life
I,
insurance you buy that gets money at the end, that's death insurance. That's not life
yeah.
insurance.
I love, Vicky, I love your channel. I'm
And it's
learning
so
every
different.
day and I'm
Yeah.
changing things. Every time I listen to one of your video, I take something that I need to address in my life. Because us African people, my goodness, if you talk to somebody about planning for later on, they're like, okay, you're a witch, you want to kill me. You know? No, seriously. you know? So,
Yeah.
that's something that we need to change. So yeah, amazing channel. So guys, yeah. Um, Kim,
Oh,
Kimberly.
Yes. No, just that when y'all were talking about Vicky's channel, it reminded me of what my, if my father had knew somebody like you, he would have put things in place. Because when he died, his girlfriend got the house, and my brother, my younger brother and sister, had to, go live someplace that was not their home.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
because
happens.
he didn't put things in place. So
In
that
Mhm.
Africa,
house
the
now
same.
has gone.
Yeah,
We don't have access to it.
yeah.
Right. So my channel, you could find me at Kimberly Gibson. It's right there. There, got it on the screen, right there. Kimberly Gibson 3. And I talk all things manifesting and motivating to
Yes.
help you, the individual, to become the best version of you, and also along with me, going towards my goals. I want to bring you all along to go towards yours too, because I think that if I'm achieving my goals, it's a lot of fun having the people around me, or the people that watch me, achieve their goals too, because life is about helping each other and growing together.
Yeah.
Yes. I
And the
love your channel. It's
channel,
so
yeah.
positive.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely,
Thank you.
Vicky. I was going to say that is you are teaching me how to see things positively. I told you at the
Mhm.
beginning, as I'm a drama queen, like everything is, oh my goodness, right? So when I start with that, often I'm like, when I watch your video, I'm like, change the way you see things, change
Mhm.
the talk that you have, even for yourself. Like, that thing, yeah, oh, I'm stupid, like I've done something wrong, change that language, talk positively about yourself, bring positive things about yourself and about your life, because world have so much weight in
They do.
on our lives, right? And
Mhm.
that's what your channel is teaching, so thank you very much, ladies. And guys,
Thank
for me, as
you.
you see, we are here with friend, and it was such an amazing time, discussing and talking about our differences, and at the same time. But we need to go back to a second video and talk
Yes.
about, how we are close together.
Yes.
Honestly, for me today, there's no difference about
Yeah.
Caribbean. It doesn't mean that we don't have individual identities to where we come from, but for me, I'm more for unity, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I see as the same people,
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
our different culture, etc. For me, there's no difference today.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
thanks to the internet for showing us, right, what we
Mhm.
couldn't see, because what the news want us to say, want us to see, and how people want to divide us, we know that that's not the truth. So,
The news
Exactly.
tells us that strangers are bad, and I
yeah.
have a few strangers that have been very good to me.
Yeah, yeah,
We
exactly.
we realize how much we have in common and how much together there's power.
Yeah.
Individually, you fall over, but you put us three together, you got that triangle. The triangle is the strongest, shape that you have out there. And
Yeah,
you just think about that. If you put all the triangles that we are together, our
yeah.
people, we're so super strong.
Yeah.
I know, and I think that's what's scary,
Mhm.
because when people come together, we are stronger than ever.
Oh
So
yeah.
anyway, that I'm a let me not start here. Guys, it was so nice. And so anyway, guys, we're gonna say goodbye. I hope that you enjoyed this talk between friends. And please do go check these ladies' channels. You are going to be amazed. All right. Love you all, and
Love
see you
you
soon.
too.
Love you too. Bye bye.
Bye. All right, guys.
All
Bye.
right.
Thank
See
you.
you
Have a
soon.
good evening. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.